hello. Well, I would just like to say that Ecamm and YouTube didn't want to speak. That's why we're 2 minutes late. I hit go live and it went, nope, I don't want to connect. I cannot connect to YouTube. I'm like, okay, that's never happened before. But here we are, sorted it out. Flicked the setting, and maybe it was just an internet setting. But we're here, we're live. First show of 2026. Off to a wonderful start. I hope everyone had a great New Year in the last couple of days as we crossed over. I crossed over from the 25 to the 26, and yeah, but we're back. YouTube's still on hiatus when it comes to news. We've got a little bit. I got one thing to talk about, and that's it. So that's why it's another episode of Creator Breakfast Live and not YouTube Creator News. But you know, I've got a couple of other things to talk about, and as always, we're going to open it up to Q&A. So if you have a question for me at any point during the show, make sure you drop a Q in front of that and drop it into the chat. I just pushed the audio up on my backing music and there was nothing there for a split second. It was like right at the start of a song. There we go. I don't know what it's doing today, but hey, music courtesy of Creator Mix as always. All right, let's jump in and say hi to a few people as we get going today. And before we do that, as always, Q helps me see your question. It doesn't stop me from reading everything else, though, does it? All right. Let's jump in, and who have we got first? Let's click the button. First one I've got registered here in the system. Kevin Hawthorne, as always, coming at us from Lakeland, Florida. I hope you had a great New Year's Day. Yeah, nice and relaxed. You know, do a little as possible on New Year's Day. That's what it's there. Up late the night before. Who else we got here? Larry Home Rapid Repair. Happy Saturday, creators. Yes, indeed. Monique is here saying hello from Poland as always. Frankie AVTV. Well, hello. Chantel Hills is in the house. It's good to have Chantel back, by the way. Just let her know that in the chat. We missed her last week. And we've also got David Matney here as well saying good morning. Good morning to you. And that's everybody who's come in so far. People are going to be rolling in as they usually do. So let's get cracking. I hope everyone had a great New Year's. And I know last week we're wishing people, hope everyone had a great Christmas break and did some good things over the Christmas break. I hope you didn't celebrate too hard, but enjoyed the celebrations nonetheless as we cross in 2026. Brent's here as well. Let's say good day to Brent as he's coming in. He's waving hello. It's always good to see Brent here. It's good to see all of you here. Everybody, all the regulars. More regulars are to come. We expect to see them between now and the end of the show, as we do. Brent's preparing a new video as we do. Yeah, I dropped a video. When did I drop that? I dropped a video on my mobile channel. It was like a breakdown of the YouTube Create app now that it's out on iOS. I went through and sort of highlighted all the features. I filmed it weeks ago, and it just took a little while to get it, pull it all together, as they say. So I'll put that out this week. Just been fiddling around doing some sort of admin-y things in the background. 2026, new year, new you, or whatever. What's the saying? It's a good time to tidy up your systems. And different things like that. I've been working on building some stuff in Google Gemini in terms of what they call gems, which is like making your own GPT sort of thing in ChatGPT. So I've been working on some of that. Yesterday what I did is I migrated my email list. I started an email list way back in like 2019, and I've collected like 80 something emails, and I've never done anything with that. So what I've done is I've migrated that list from MailChimp to Kit. So I'll sign up for an account on Kit. Kit has a creator level system where you can use it for free up to, I think it's 10,000 subscribers just to get yourself going. They're very creator friendly, and they've got some features I didn't even know about. But I'm working on that at the moment, sort of setting up for something that I will talk about today, because it is sort of loosely based on what we do here every Saturday during the year when we're doing YouTube Creator News. I'm turning it into a weekly newsletter where I'll give you the 3 top stories or 3 top announcements for the week, and then list some of the other ones underneath. Maybe give a little bit of my opinion in it, but not too long. But it's just like a recap of the week that was in YouTube news for creators. So that's something that I'm working on at the moment, is sort of developing that, using, because that can be time consuming to put together. So I want to balance my writing versus the accumulation of knowledge from the week that was, using things like Gemini and so forth. So just trying to work out my systems to make it so that it's not like a huge load of extra work, because I'm already doing some of the work anyway. When I collate the news every week for the show, and when I'm putting out some of the posts I put out during the week on X and my YouTube posts, of course, different places like that. So working on that over this sort of break, because I had, when you have New Year's Day, New Year's Eve is Wednesday, New Year's Day is Thursday, so it's a day off, and Friday's that orphan day. So I took a day off, a planned day of annual leave, just to have a bit of a run, a bit of a recharge, a bit of relaxation, but doing some of this sort of bits and pieces behind the scenes. And really what I should also be doing is creating more content. We'll be working on that. I've got a couple more days, go back to work on Tuesday, which is good. So let's jump in the chat again, because I did see Beanie Draws is in the chat. It's good to see Beanie here. Beanie's been with me for a while. I know Beanie's actually in my email list, because I was looking at the list and I'm like, oh, Beanie signed up for that. He probably signed up for that back in 2019 when I started it. Signed up, gave me his email address. He's going to be unsubscribing now when he gets the first email I'm sending out, by the way, is going to be just to the people who've I've been on the list and I have not spammed, have not done anything. I'm going to let them know that if you stay on the list, if you stick around, this is what I'm doing. This weekly newsletter. If you don't like it, make sure to unsubscribe. Giving people the heads up, the notice, giving them the courtesy. So that's the plan. So I've been working on all that. I was working on it right up before the stream, actually. Livestream Consultants is here as well. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. and that's the interesting thing, because I was just asking some recommendations from Gemini about my first draft of my email. It says, well, keep in mind that if some of these people signed up way back in 2019, those emails might not be relevant anymore. So that was one of the little prompts. So being reiterated there by Beanie Draws. Ollie Smith is here as well. Good to see you. Good to have you here. And now, following up on the whole this whole newsletter thing, is what I've done is now in the description of this live stream and on the videos going forward, there will be a link where you can sign up specifically for that weekly newsletter. If that's something that interests you, I'm going to have it listed on my content. I'm going to mention it here and there. I might mention it in some videos, and obviously I'll probably mention it in my live streams, because the topic, every week when we're covering the news, that's sort of the stuff that's going to be in the newsletter as well. So yeah, there's just some of the early 2026 things that I've been working on. I've probably got more to work on. Probably early in February, I'm going to be fixing the studio. So in about a month's time, hopefully, fixing the studio. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times, but I think we're sort of nailing it down to early February for that. But, subject to change, of course. But yeah, if you've got any questions for me at any time during the show, drop them in the chat with a Q, and we will get cracking. But I do have one little nugget of YouTube news / announcements this week. And so we'll hit that in just a second as well. Beanie says he's working on finding better editing software and potentially programming my own. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's like New Year. It's like spring. It's like a spring clean, but it's not spring. It's winter or summer, depending on where you are. But it's like, giving your systems a dust off, a spring clean, if you will, and getting back to being more efficient around creating content, about whatever the business is that you might be running a business associated with your YouTube channel. You might be doing any of those things. So just sort of reinvigorating what you're doing fresh. So you start fresh in 2026. I think that's a good thing. It's better than a New Year's resolution, I guess. You can just resolve to give your brain a little bit of release, give some of your systems a refurbish, because some things may be in your system that you maybe is irrelevant now. You can delete that. Maybe you can add some things to be more efficient in other areas. Whole bunch of things that we can work through. All right, a lot of people saying hi. New year, new me. Create a classroom in the house. Heck no, new year, new renewed me. Yes, it's like a refresh. It's like a vacation, and in some respects, for some people, it might even be a transformation. It's like, I'm going to change tack, or I'm going to add, like for me, adding this newsletter that I'm planning to add is just another quiver in my bow, a bow in my quiver. No, it's not a quiver and a bow, it's a bow and a quiver. So yes. Beanie says, one of the things I like about AI is we live in an age where if you don't like software, you can get AI to hold your hand in making something more fitting for your needs. Yeah, like I've dabbled with that. I've dabbled with browser extensions and things. And I've got some things that are sort of on the back burner and things that I have created. I remember earlier this year I created the sort of the thumbnail, the channel banner, where you can go to a channel and click on the button and it will show you the channel banner in full screen TV, what it looks like on desktop, what it looks like on mobile, what it looks like on tablet. Again, like gives you all the 4 versions, so you can sort of visualize if your banner is getting cut off or different things like that. So that's something. I haven't released that. I need to do more to make that into a Chrome extension that would be available on a Chrome App Store. So, I haven't gone down the publishing path. I've done the iteration and creating it, getting it like a working prototype. Sort of where most of my stuff is at in terms of that. So, Nick Nemeth has been thriving on that. Yeah, he's been working through different things, and now he's now we're in the new year. His program, his course, his Tube School is probably the best just to call it what it's called. Tube School is getting started. So, 2026 is all happening. Let's see. Create a Classroom says, I'm trying a different method for organizing my video ideas. Yes, that's a good idea. Just see if it works, because not everything you throw at the wall is going to stick. So try it, see if it works, see if it's better, see if it's worse. It might give you ideas of how to even make that process better for you. I don't know if it will work better, but I'm giving it a go. Absolutely. Livestream Consultant says, I need to upgrade my internal M.2 drive to a much larger one. Just with the programs I regularly use, a little room left. Yeah, and get in before the prices, they're already going up on storage, RAM, and GPUs in particular, CPUs. So just, they're not as cheap as they were, unfortunately. I've got an enclosure for an M.2 that I haven't got an M.2 for yet, to make like an external editing drive. It's just going to get like a mega, 2 terabytes or more. And the price I was looking at when I got the enclosure is no longer the price. That's always fun. Oh, Credit Classroom says, can't wait to start with tuber school. Excellent. I don't know. It's starting soon, isn't it? I just know it's starting soon. I don't know when exactly it starts. It's more of an added thing. I use Google Docs potentially for more initial ideas, and then what I keep, I'll plug into Canva projects. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's finding the right tool that does it the way, or a way that's fits your systems. And sometimes fitting our systems could be relating to like the software we use, software we like to use, all that good. Oh, Monday. Yeah, Monday sounds about right, because I remember something like 4th or the 5th. I remember a date getting bandied about, but I don't remember. Beanie says, I can get some first-hand feedback that those SanDisk dual USB-C, USB-A drives over 120 gig are essentially the same speed as traditional hard drives, but much smaller and easier. Interesting. Yeah, more portable too. Particularly if they're a are they SSDs? SanDisk dual USB-C, USB-A. I'm not sure if I know the particular ones. If it's 128 gigabytes, it sounds more like it could be a SSD possibly. I'm not sure. Or it's one of those slimline spinning drives, like the one, you know, the tiny one, smaller ones they put in like older PCs, and then they take it out and they put it in like its own proprietary enclosure. Oh, it's a traditional USB stick. Ah, gotcha. Ah, yeah. I know the ones, and they've got the like the both ends, so you can like change it from USB-A to USB-C. Gotcha. I know the ones you mean. I had SSDs in my head. I had a SSD, or you know, it's a cable, and they give you like both ends. A bit like my Samsung T7s and T5s. I think I actually got a bunch of T7s. Let's see. The reason I'm trying this as a creator friend shared her video ideas and gave me editing access. I started working in it and thought, you know, what this is actually pretty good. Pretty good idea. Yeah, you got to find a system that works, because not everybody's going to use the same system. What works for Nick Nemman, for example, you know, his process, a lot of people are going to dig it, but you know, you might go, you know, you might sort of align more with a workflow process that you might have gotten from somebody else, and one that you've developed yourself. So many different things. The Team Group X Max 1 terabyte is an SSD USB-C. Yeah, I'll be getting one of those this month. 1 gigabit per second, speeds 10 times faster than USB. Oh yeah, it'll be way faster than USB stick. Life on YouTube 1 is here. LOYT1. Good morning, afternoon, good evening. Good to see you. All right, I'm going to jump over real quick to one only little snippet of news that I came across. I think I came across it yesterday. It was either yesterday or this morning. It might even be this morning. And so I just took a screenshot because I was referred. I followed a link and found this. This is a page where you can look at YouTube policy updates, where they list like brand new stuff that's coming out. Sometimes there's a section for creator updates as well. Nothing new in there. For user updates for people who just use YouTube, like viewers, different things like that. I think there's another section too. But this is the one from the policy update section. Now, I'm not too concerned with the January one, the first one, safeguards for search results, because this sort of falls part and parcel with when we're talking about, you know, protecting minors, and how a lot of accounts now, if they're under 16 or under 18, depending on the jurisdiction, where they're going to have limited access to restricted content, age restricted content, or anything else that's not appropriate for people under whatever that age is, depending on where you are. So in that one there, I'm just going to mention it real quick just because it's on here. YouTube is adding a new search safety protection for teens that will prevent results from appearing from search terms. So if they type in a search term that would be inappropriate, it's going to reject that search term for them. So it's just an added add a detail, and there's a link to the how YouTube provides age-appropriate experiences for teens. There's an article is already an existing article on YouTube's pages. That's not really the reason why I put this on here. I just put that on there because that is new. Now, they've labeled this one February 2026, and this what? It's the 3rd. It's the 3rd of January. So this is when they say this is upcoming changes to the number of concurrent live streams. I'm thinking this is probably going to start rolling out in February. I think that's the hint that they're trying to make here. What it says is this: YouTube is reducing the number of maximum concurrent live streams allowed. An individual stream key or channel will be limited in the number of concurrent live streams it can broadcast. This update will roll out in the next few months. And I'm suggesting maybe it's going to start in February. So what does this mean? It means basically you cannot be running too many live streams at the same time on the same channel. Whether you're using the same stream key, I don't know how you'd be using the same stream key at the same time, because concurrent means at the same time. You're doing them all at once. So it's like, obviously they still allow it because they're allowing you to do the vertical horizontal thing at the same time, and just rolled out a feature for that exact purpose. But the thing we don't know is we didn't know there was whether there was previously an upward limit, a top limit, what it was, what was the hard limit, and what is it going to be. So hopefully they're going to share that information with us. There's no links to any articles to give us any information. It's just more of a bit of a heads up. So in the terms of live streaming, it's probably to make sure. I don't know why someone would want to run that many live streams. I can imagine if you're a channel for like a conference, like say you were Vid Summit and you were doing your stream publicly instead of behind a paywall. So assuming that for a second, I would expect that they would allow you to do all the concurrent streams that they did at Vid Summit this year, which meant the main stage and the 3 grand ballrooms. I think there was like 4 total. I don't think that would be a problem. I think there would be an upward limit. So maybe there wasn't an upward limit before, but now there is, or there is going to be. So I don't think it's going to affect anybody here in the chat, but I think it could be something interesting, something to keep in mind for like conference channels or channels that would stream a lot of things concurrently. I'm not sure who or what would, like even a big company like WWE, for example, who does live stream content at times. They live stream some of their pre and post show stuff, but they're not doing it at the same time. So usually only one live, and they might have like a stream that might be like a best of compilation thing or something like that going, but they wouldn't be having too many at once. So this is interesting. Let's jump into the chat and see what people are saying. Beanie says the February one is probably a good idea. No reason to have more than 2 or 3 concurrent live streams. Yeah, there's very little use case in my mind for, a number beyond, maybe 10, if you're lucky. That's what I would suspect. But, hopefully they will give you that instead of you having to discover it one day and it'd be mission critical that you have X number of streams going and you just can't because you've hit that hard limit. So hopefully they do announce a hard limit. So that live stream policy is for those channels that can run. It could be because in theory you could run multiple of them at the same time, and it's very hands off, and you can use services like what's the one that started Gaia? There's a couple others. I think Nick used OBubble in the past. There's a few others out there as well. I would expect where you can set up a virtual live stream that's got your content with a playlist. You can set up quite simply with if you had a computer that you want to use at home for it. You can set up a separate computer, set up OBS, a VLC playlist, load all your content in there, and have it play through the playlist. That's a basic way of doing it, but that you can do it virtually using a virtual machine where they provide all that. You can run it on OBS or even some other software if sometimes these services actually provide their own streaming software. And so you can load up your content and stream it 24/7 to your channel. And I would expect that YouTube don't mind that because they've never had any enforcement on that. But I would reckon if your channel just became like a whole heap of multiple live streams at the same time, that people weren't, it wasn't really live, it was just regurgitating content. I think they don't mind it if you have one like highlights channel or something that like stream that's just continually, you know, circulating through your content. We've seen big creators test that out. I would expect YouTube wouldn't mind if you're doing one, but if you start doing multiple of those, I think that, you know, because that is bandwidth on their part to stream multiple streams to their servers, and whether or not that might be limiting in some way, or, you know, taxing their systems, where they would only want really live streams that are really absolutely live to take priority over those sorts of streams. Then again, you know, if you got one, I don't think they have a problem with it. Well, Learn Spanish World's here. Let me click on this. I thought the same thing. Those channels which keep streaming the same video over and over again. Yeah, if it's like looping a single video, I think that's nuts. If it's like a very long, like live stream replay or something, and I don't know what YouTube's rules are on replaying a live stream where it's no longer technically live, but it was recorded live. On Facebook, I know you had to disclose that. I don't know what YouTube's rules are on disclosure on that. That's an interesting one. As Beanie says here, bandwidth is limited, and now that many big name players are taking all the RAM to feed into AI, RAM and processing power is going to need to be restricted. That's true, and they want anybody who wants to live stream to be able to, but just not like hogging. You know, your channel's got one live stream. You don't need 25 live streams, you know, at the same time. So that's a fair thing. Might affect sports and news channels? Possibly. So as long as YouTube come up with like clarity, like give you a hard number, or says, because of the type of content you create, we allow you to use this much, that you have these many concurrent streams, I think that would be fine. In Daryl's case, he wouldn't be doing it on YouTube anyway. Yeah, no, because like stuff like Vid Summit is behind a paywall. That's going to a different service. That's not going through YouTube, so he's all good there. I think it's designed to prevent multiple outputs to Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, Kick, etc., at the same time. I know Nick plays around with that. Yeah, I read this as being concurrent on YouTube. I don't think they care that you're going to other platforms, because they already know that happens. They know that a lot of gamers are already, you know, streaming on Twitch, and that they're probably more open to stream on YouTube now that Twitch has sort of let up some of their rules a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Other than kids content, I don't see them doing well. I like how I have hundreds of back catalog videos. I could have a live stream called Home Rapid Repair TV. Yeah, and I think that's cool, and I don't think YouTube has a problem with that. I've never seen any indication that YouTube takes issue with that sort of stuff. I think they'll limit it to 2, vertical and horizontal, and don't want people to go off platform. Yeah, YouTube's never been like, they don't want you sending people off platform to say, hey, we're going live over on Twitch now, and come join us over there, but not stream on YouTube. Now, they don't like that. Well, they didn't back in the day. They used to actually, if you put up like a video with a thumbnail that says, hey, I'm now live on Twitch, but you weren't live on YouTube, you would get like a strike or or they would take that video down. You get in trouble for that. I know gamers that got in trouble for that. So that has happened in the past. So in terms of that, if you're promoting another platform and sending people off platform instead of you actually streaming here on YouTube, which they used to do that because Twitch had that issue where Twitch would not allow you to multi-stream. But now Twitch allows it. I don't think YouTube would have a problem with people multi-streaming the other way. As long as you're on YouTube and people can find you there, I don't think they care if you're simul streaming. And I think in some of their documentation, they actually talk about simul streaming as well. They call it, because it's like simulcast, but they call it, I think they call it simul streaming or multi-streaming, I think is a more well-known vernacular for that. But I did come across something like in the last week where YouTube actually talks about that, and doesn't mention any type of restriction, but talks about it as something that you can do. So we'll see. YouTube's been taking a bit of advertising hit lately. I feel like they're going to want to crack down a bit on their bandwidth allocation. Yeah, I think in terms of pushing stuff out, I don't think it's an issue. I think ingesting content, like obviously the live stream settings are separate from like regular uploads and uploading shorts and stuff. So I think where the bandwidth would get hit at any one time would be live streaming it as opposed to the ability to upload. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I just think it might just be like a safety thing. Or it could be a bandwidth thing. I do acknowledge that, and I think it could that's highly likely, or it could be one of a number of reasons, because of bandwidth, because of maybe some type of bad acting, that they're limiting it. They're not outright allowing no concurrent live streams. They're just sort of limiting reducing the number of maximum, and we don't know what the current maximum is. Well, at least I'm not aware of it. I wonder if we could find out. Let's, you know what? Let's just do a Google search. I was gonna like use Gemini, but no. Let's use a Google search. Does YouTube actually? Let's share the screen. I've been on this screen long enough. Let's get rid of that. All right, and you can see I'm using the creator dashboard. Does YouTube have a maximum limit of concurrent live streams a channel can stream at one time? That's what concurrent means anyway. So yes, a single YouTube channel can run multiple simultaneous live streams, but there is no official published hard limit. It sounds like there will be, or there is. There is one, but they haven't told anybody what it is. Users have successfully run over a dozen, though practical limits depend on your hardware and bandwidth, with the key requirement being using a unique stream key for every event on YouTube. And now they're going to tell me how to do the key considerations. While 2 or 3 streams are common, some users have tested 10 plus. Yeah, but let's assume that the hardware limits on our side in terms of running a live stream. That's not a concern because we might be sending them from different locations. Standard YouTube rules apply, but aren't the main blocker for concurrent live streams. Yeah, so this, in essence, YouTube supports it technically, but your setup capacity. Oh yeah, but yeah, that's not what we're asking. YouTube. No. That's something different. All right, let's come back. Let's see what we got. What we got going on here. Linus Tech Test did a clip about it yesterday, the day before. It's more concerning than we actually realize. Talk about like the bandwidth allocation or the limits with the like the hardware side of things, the RAM for their servers, of course. Or are we talking about? Were they talking about YouTube concurrent streams? Because that's an interesting one. I'll have to go look for that. Park Rose is here. Says, I've heard channels testing at least 10, 12 live streams at once. Yeah, that's interesting. Are they the ones that you've heard of? Are they like where they've like collated some of their content? They're running like a marathon of their videos on those different channels, or are they like live streaming from different locations or something like that, or live streaming the exact same thing multiple times? Which I don't know why you want to do that. So I'm interested if they were more focused on the replay of the content, or if they were doing a live stream in many locations, a deal. Sounds like YouTube should crack down on this before. Yeah, well, I wasn't aware that people were like going hard. Like I would have thought 10, 12 streams was sort of definitely the upper limit. And that you would have to have a pretty good reason to do that, even to test it. You'd have to be doing it from different locations, so you're not like sucking your own bandwidth, doing it from one location. Even just for the internet, let alone you might have multiple machines set up, multiple types of cameras, or live streaming from your phone, from your computer and your tablet. I don't know why you do that, but anyway. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason a channel needs 10 streams at once. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good point. They could mostly like music channels, so they're like putting together content. So there's different formats. This is the lo-fi stream. A bit like, Creator Mix was for a while was doing that. Roberto's Zenbuster, I think Stream Beats does as well, where they got the music with the visualizations going 24/7 for a period of time. They were testing that out. I don't think any of those are running at the moment, but yeah, where you got maybe a lo-fi girl, for example, or jazz, pop, rock, whatever it is. If you've got the rights to that for whatever the reason, I could see channels like T Series or channels related to the big music publishers, where they're like promoting their own artists and their own content. Official artist channels, maybe, but I don't see them doing too many at once, because official artist channels usually are the smaller creators. There might be some bigger ones as well, but they've only got if they're new, they only have 1 or 2 albums out, and then how much of that has video content, for example. But then if you've got like a big record label, they've got multiple artists, multiple hundreds and thousands of albums, a lot of video content. They could make like an MTV type 24/7 live stream on YouTube. That would be easy. Why they would need 10 if they wanted to feature on genre, that makes sense. But yeah, I can see how that's sucking YouTube's bandwidth for processing. Blackbird says, I've only tested 2 personally, 1 vertical, 1 horizontal for the new dual stream. Yeah, me too. I've tested that. IRL streams from 1 location but 2 angles. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Interesting. 2 angles. 2 streams, 2 separate angles. So you can watch the angle that you want. Interesting. I like it. Yeah. So that's the only snippet of anything new coming out. I did have one person on that I follow on Threads who sort of posts social media stuff, and they were only just posting about voice replies this week. I'm like, you must have been on vacation. We were talking about that a month ago. So yeah, open it up right now. If you've got a question, drop it in the chat, or you want to continue talking about this topic or any other topic you want to talk about. Drop it in chat. It's open. And the queue always helps. It's good to get back in the flow. It's like with all the like days off and the public holidays and and things over the last couple of weeks of Christmas. In Australia, we also have Boxing Day. New Year's Day is a public holiday. And some long weekends, where you sort of string some days off into your weekends just to make it a little bit longer. It's you don't always get to keep track of what day it is, but I did remember it was Saturday, so we're streaming on the right day. That's always good. That's always good. Let me know also in the chat if you want to share. What do you have any sort of plans for 2026 for your YouTube channel, your content? Anything that you want to share, you can share that as well. I'm gonna take a sip. I think I shared most of mine already earlier in the stream. Could do some. We can do some demos here. Let's go over here. Oh, I like this from Beanie. I like this. I do plan finally publishing in this year. Yeah, it'd be good to see some content, some Beanie Draws content coming back. That's always good. It's always good. That makes me happy. All right. Yeah. One concept I have is the evolution of a video I did years ago. Dinosaurs versus... Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. I like that. I like it. It's sort of, it's topical. And people always like dinosaurs. All right. Let's get rid of that off my face. All right, I've pulled up my Geminis, but I prefer Gemini over ChatGPT. I have a paid Gemini, so I might show you some of the things I've been working on, if we need to. We recently went to SRT streaming, so 2026 will be about tinkering with graphics and such via IRL streams. Yes, nice. I like it. There's some interesting technologies around streaming that sort of goes beyond sort of what we're doing here, like using simple Ecamm or OBS or whatever. Some interesting hardware sort of back end, web-based stuff that's going on. Like I know a channel that does aviation sort of plane spotting live streams. And they do like a multi-camera from different locations at the same time. And so they actually have everything happening in the cloud. So they're sending their footage to ingested into their system that is hosted somewhere. So when I say it's online, it's like it's in the cloud. It's a hosted system. And then all the cutting happens there. So think of like StreamYard on steroids. And so they're sending their camera angles all to that location, and then they can cut it on their equipment that they have. They can cut their shots and add things and bring up their comments and everything using some stream decks and some tablets that they've got attached to their tripods, so that they can, either of the hosts in different locations can actually switch cameras. They have real-time audio coming in, so they can hear each other and talk to each other as hosts. So yeah, it's advanced technology that like people doing this type of stream sitting in their home studio isn't typically using, because they're out, they're mobile, they're running on batteries, they're not plugged into power because they're out in the field, they're out in different parts of an airport where you may not be able to plug into some AC power. You know what I mean? So they're running on battery packs. They're sending stuff up with a commercial grade modem system or whatever I don't know. They're probably got specific things that they call this equipment. I don't know what they're called. But they're sending it up wirelessly through the cellular network to their server where everything's getting ingested and cut in real time as possible. But there is a bit more latency going out to YouTube once that gets out to YouTube. I think I've measured it. It is closer to upwards of 30 seconds. Whereas this stream here, because I got a low latency set in Ecamm, I think my latency here is like 4 seconds. Let's say 4 to 6 seconds, because it could vary going back out to different people who are streaming. Anyway, I don't know how do I get onto that? Larry says, channel's going well. I have a good system set up for long-term sustainability. Yeah, you do. You've got some good things happening there. You've got the you've diversified income streams. You've got a content pipeline, which I don't know all about your content pipeline, but I know you got it happening. I know you got it happening. Expand streaming from tablet and mobile would be great. Something on par with OBS. Yeah, that's right. It's good that you can do stuff compactly. But sometimes you want to, at minimum, work off a computer. For people like that in the field, though, sometimes at working off a tablet, if you can work off a tablet, if you have the internet connection, work off a tablet, and everything is like all the hard work, the CPU, the grunt, the GPU, all that work's happening remotely, and then you can, keep it lean and mean on the fly out in the field. Brent says, trying to get that silver play button in 2026. That's a good goal. I love it. Excellent. With CRT sending everything through OBS when I'm out in the field. Yes. The fact that you can ingest like that is cool. I know OBS with its plugins and stuff, you can do that sort of thing. I wish more. Like Ecamm sort of does it, but not in the same way. They do have NDI, for example, which works well. I watched a guy called CDAWGVA do a cyclothon through Japan to raise money for charity streams with the backpack across the backpack systems, the mobile wireless. Yeah. Michael Sahoski's here, Headroom 23. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Happy 2023. Good to see you. Oh, I've got a couple of things going on. I'm going to go to the gem section here. You've got a question or anything along the way, or you want to say something, keep drop them in the chat. Let me go to my gem manager here. I've been working on, I think this one's probably more interesting to talk about. I'm going to click on it. It's sort of evolved since I had the idea, is I wanted to put together, build a knowledge base of knowledge based around YouTube best practices, different things like that, and put it into a GPT or a gem, depending on what you're using. And so I've set this one, I've been programming this one, YouTube channel coach. And I think it's sort of the initial idea was a coach, but I think I've broadened it out a little bit more. Because this is sort of the description that I sort of gave it. We'll look at a channel and give actionable feedback. We'll answer best practice questions and questions about YouTube features and policies. Because I'm sort of bootlegging in a broader sort of knowledge base, some video content as well, not just my own, but stuff that I trust, and just sort of link it as a knowledge base. And so there's some challenges when you do this with gems, because there's a limit of how much stuff you can connect to it. But there is a bit of a workaround that I found if you're interested in this sort of thing. I need to actually go into the edit section, which means I need to go back to the gems. That's it there. So basically you give it a name, and that description is just something I typed in. But then the important part is this instructions section. And so I basically sort of nutted out the basic instructions of what I wanted to do. And then there's this little button here. It's like a thing. And Gemini comes in and rewrites it into a format that the gem will work with, and give it more sort of the guide rails around it to make it do what you want it to do. So you tell it, and then get it to rewrite that into like better instructions. And sort of, now I've set this up. Like I only done this week. I need to start testing it because the next stage is a test. Now the knowledge base, because there was a limit to how many, I think it's 10 things that you can attach. So the workaround is this. One of the things you can upload are Notebook LM projects. Now, Notebook LM projects can hold a whole bunch of sources. And so I've loaded all the sources into categories and then put them into like Notebook LMs. And so I'm hoping this is all going to work the way I think it's going to work. And so basically I've got all this knowledge there. Like I've got something where there was, I took like, hello, am I live? Hello. I don't know how long I was down before I looked across and noticed that Ecamm had ended the stream. Hello, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. And I'm in my studio at the moment. Okay, we're back. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I don't know how long that was down before I realized, because I was waffling away looking at my gem in Gemini, and I'm like, oh my goodness. All right, I'm jumping back into let's jump back in here. Let's jump back to this at this point. Yeah. Okay, because I saw some comments coming in early, and then I didn't see all these. That was like this one, Frozen, 3 minutes ago. You can see the timestamp on them, 3-4 minutes ago. The first comment here from Brent. Am I the only one frozen? Okay. Yeah, Ecamm. That's the second time that's happened to me. The first time it happened to me, but I think was when we were testing the live to public to members only. Anyway, let's see if I can jump in. There's some ChatGPT taught me of a note-keeping app called Obsidian. It kind of designed to help organize and catalog AI chats. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm sort of working my way through it. Livestream Consultant says, I'd like to see a video on how to send something like that up, Doug. Yeah, once I sort of get the gist of it, that might be something. Because it's not something that I'm necessarily going to be like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It's just like I like building things, which is why I do dabble in a bit of the browser extension stuff as well as I have. Now that I'm not a coder. You know, I didn't do last time I did any competent coding was when I was coding basic. I have coded some macros, to be honest, but usually I like record the macro. I don't like code it. Macros for Excel or something like that. You know, they've been around for a while. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. Notebook LM is a Google product. I think it's Notebook Language Model, I think it stands for. Notebook is just something you can like drop in a whole heap of sources. So it's a bit like a Gemini or a GPT on steroids, where you can load. Actually, let me just open up Notebook LM, and I'll show you Notebook LM. Make sure we're still live. All right. This is Notebook LM. It's also a Google product. And so this is where I set up some of those notebooks that I had listed. You can see all these ones on January 1st. This one, YouTube Creator News, that's not one of the ones I loaded in. I'd sometimes collate my sources for the news each week. I only just started doing it in Notebook recently. Before that, I wasn't really collating them anywhere. But if I put all the sources in one location, I can sort of get information where there's some crossover, where there's multiple sources for the same subject. We can cross over and sort of distill what's important, hopefully. But these are all the ones I set up the other day. All these ones on January 1st. See, I put 100 videos in that, 100 sources. Best practices has 47 sources. Now, most of these sources, if they're not videos, are actually PDFs. And the PDFs of basically YouTube help pages. So I got like a whole heap of PDFs where I went through. It took me like a day and a half to go throughout YouTube and capture a whole heap of YouTube help pages to get the information, just so I would have it like local. It turns out in the end I could probably go in and give it URLs for a bunch of stuff, which I've done in the past, which may in the long term be a better way of doing it. But it's like collating those. Like I've got them all. They're actually all listed on the PDFs. Anyway, now if I was to use this, like if I like put in any, like a bunch of information, like this one, this is what I used. I had 46 sources for some of the stuff that I added in to do my recap from for last week's show, where I did like a recap of 2025. Because it was over a year, I had a whole bunch of sources I brought in. And it basically, these are all down the left here, are all the sources. You can see most of these are all our live streams. My live streams for up till earlier in the year. And I think there's one that's not a live stream. It's some other document. But everything else is like my live streams. That's why they're all got the YouTube logos on them. So I've loaded in all my live streams to distill the topics that we talked about in 2025, because I wasn't going to sit down and watch 100 or whatever it is, not 100, it'd be 40-ish live streams for the year to remember what we talked about on all of them. So I loaded it in and it distilled all that information, and I got it to basically create some information over here. In the chat, I told it just to make a list sort of by month of all the topics we talked about. So here in April, we talked about the Creator Research Program and the high beta and stuff like that, which turned into the notes that I used on the show last week. This is sort of how I sort of like aggregated all the information. Now you can do some interesting things with Notebook LM. You can actually create stuff over here in the studio side. You can create slide decks and infographics. You saw the infographic and slide deck that I built last week. It was a little bit rough my first time using those. You can build flashcards and quizzes based on the information. A mind map, you can generate reports. You can even generate data tables, which is new. But this is some powerful stuff. Audio overview. This is where it turns it into like an AI based podcast based on the information, where you can say, create a podcast talking about, this aspect of whatever the topic is, and it's distilled all the information. So it has all the information to refer to, and it actually creates an audio overview. So it's like a podcast based style, like the ones that I tried earlier in the year, where like they had two characters, a male and a female, and they were back and forth talking in information, sound very authoritative and different things. Now the video one I haven't tried. It's just it generates and explain a video presented to you by AI. Now the intention on these is just to put the information in a format where you can like listen or watch rather than have to read through text. So you can get it to explain, distill everything that I've given you and explain this thing that I don't understand. So you can actually get it to put it in words, so you can sit back and listen to it like a podcast and take it in a different way. If you didn't want to just read the text, you can have the text as well. It can generate an explanation in text, just like a chat GPT. So a whole bunch of things going on there. But yeah, that's Notebook LM. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. And I know we've got Neman Live coming up in 26 minutes. As we're coming back, Andrew Can came in to the chat. So g'day to Andrew Can. Okay, we came, and I'm in the part of the chat where we're back. It's good to be back. Was it an Ecamm thing or Aussie internet thing? Well, I didn't get a chance to look at my live stream before I reset it on Ecamm. I had to restart Ecamm. Now, Ecamm got some sort of signal from YouTube that said stop streaming. The stream's over. So I don't know. So I'll get answers on that later, hopefully. It's just that they really Ecamm really needs to give you like an audible alert, because I might not be looking. I wasn't looking at my Ecamm. I was here over on my other screen, carrying on about Gemini Gems. And you weren't listening. You didn't hear me because I was off air. Basic, coding and basic, yes. I don't think I could do it now. Stanley Orchard in the house. Good to see you. I'm playing around with ChatGPT voice, but not in a while. This sounds interesting. And that's where I got AI Generator Explainer YouTube channels come from, slippery territory. Yeah, I wouldn't use it for content. Like I tested that because I'm like, well, what's this all about? Can I do that? I made a test channel where I used that exact thing, loaded in some information about a topic and got it to create a podcast talking about that topic from the angle of a creator. And then I put it out there. I turned it, made it a video because, it's YouTube. I turned it into a video. I basically took the audio, I loaded into Descript and added like audio waveform visualizations. I had it because Descript can detect the different people speaking, different speakers. I gave them names, the speakers' names, and so their name would come up with what they're saying. So it would be like closed captions at the same time. But there was no actual like video to watch. That was probably the biggest downside. It wasn't real because it was just AI. It sounded relatively real. It wasn't a bad AI voice by a long shot, but there'd be telltale signs that it was AI. Yeah, I think I put up about four episodes just as a test. Yeah, didn't do much. It's pretty dead. I have to go check on it. It's still up, but I stopped that experiment because it's like, yeah, nobody's into this. Nobody's into this, and it's fine because it was a test. If you learn Markdown coding, you can usually preserve the formatting of GPT outputs. There you go. Nice. All right, it's time to call it. It's time to call it. I'm on the wrong page. I'm on the wrong page. Here it is.
It's the last call.
It's the last call. It's the last chance to have a comment or ask a question before we wrap things up and send y'all over to Nemen Live, which is coming up in 22 minutes from now. I've already set up the redirect. It's ready to go. Nick is going live with the first show for 2026. I'll be there. So I will see you there in the chat. But if you stick around in my chat, once the show's over, you're going to automatically end up over there with Nick and Dee in the pre-show chat and everybody else who's waiting for the show to start. There we go. Last call, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. AKA raiding Nick. Yes, we are raiding. It's a raid. I know why YouTube didn't call it a raid. But a raid is fun. It can be fun or it can be concerning. But yeah, a live redirect sounds a bit tame. Thanks YouTube for that renaming of a feature. So yeah, I don't know whether, I'll say this because we're towards the end. I don't know whether, what do I want to say? Yeah, I don't know whether we're going to get any news this coming week. Hopefully we're getting back in. If we do start getting news back out of YouTube, if Creator Insider's back, dropping the knowledge and whatnot, then we'll revert the show back to YouTube Creator News as of next week. If it's still quiet, then we'll have another episode of Creator Breakfast live and just shoot the breeze, do Q&A and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Usually try to come in with at least something on those shows. Twitch probably trademarked the term raid for streaming. Probably. Raids are fun unless you're the poor villagers with no defenses. Love it. Depends on whether the raid is digitally armed or just bringing last year's fruitcake. Yes. Yes, but not be stale. That's all I can say. Now we're talking about food. It's now starting to make me hungry. I'm going to need snacks for Niman Live. So that's, that's a thing. That is a thing. Well, we talked about the raid, and that's about it. I think it's quiet. I think it's time. A stale cake is firmer, but not effective in battle. Yeah, it'd have to be rock hard to do any decent damage, I'm sure. I missed. Okay. Tacos. Well, I think we're going to wrap things up and send people on over to Niman Live. So I can reset, make a coffee. I feel like I need a coffee. It's a little bit warm, but I will still have a coffee because I need that caffeine. I need the caffeine. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today as we breeze a little bit more than usual. We had a couple of things to talk about. Well, I'm surprised how long we actually talked about that live stream, concurrent live stream thing. I'm sure we'll be talking about it again come February or whenever that we actually get more information on that. Should be good. I'm hoping to hear some great things out of YouTube so we can talk about things. We've got some things to talk about, and then start rolling out, in addition to this show, rolling out that newsletter I was talking about on the emails. So if you are interested in that and you haven't got yourself on my email list in the past, then there is a link to do that in the description. That's what it is, a description of the show. You know what? I should start going back and putting end screens in my live streams as well. I haven't been doing that now that I'm doing playlists, a podcast. I'm turning the live streams, the YouTube credit news, they're also now being podcasted. Everything from last year is in a podcast. I don't think I'm putting these credit breakfast shows in part of the podcast because they're not the same, not quite the same format. We're not covering the news. So yeah, the podcast is out there now, so you can actually listen on YouTube Music. I guess that's how it works. I need to look in that because I don't have YouTube Music, but I need to look into that so I sort of understand how it works. How do Aussies celebrate a New Year? Fireworks. Like everywhere else in the world, fireworks at midnight. Some people party. Some people keep it chill, watch the fireworks, go to bed. Some people continue partying till dawn. It just depends. And some people do that. Kick back on the couch and watch TV, whatever it might be on live or something that you've got planned, like a TV series. Absolutely. All right, I want to thank everyone for joining me. We'll see you over on Niman Live. I'm going to take that off. I'm just going to take everything off first because I can. And keep it real as... Hey, that's not my line. I can't use that one. That's copyright. I'll catch you later.